Hey there, everyone. We're going to do a quick update on Pathtags, including an announcement of our new project. So, State of the Union, we're heading into our 20th anniversary year. 2025 has been pretty challenging for us, as you might know. Deeply grateful for everyone's continued support. We began planning for the next 10 years in 2024. We sat down today, we're heading into 20 years. Let's plan for the next 10. And we talked about a few things that were kind of near and dear to our heart. Starter kits pricing has increased from $99 to when we launched in 2006 to $142 currently. Some variety of factors, including materials costs, labor costs, and lately the tariff costs. There's news as of June 11th that we're not quite sure. The details are a little unclear whether or not that's going to be a 35% ongoing tariff or 55% ongoing tariff. But between the processing fees and the additional tariffs, we expect that prices are going to have to go up even higher to account for that stuff, unfortunately. And so we've run into a place where I think it's a little unpredictable for long-term planning. And it's pushing Pathtags out of reach for a lot of people, and that bothers us because that's what Pathtags were really envisioned to do originally, right? It was in a time when geocoins were the thing and everybody wanted them. They were so expensive and so out of reach for people. We wanted to give people something like a geocoin that they could enjoy and collect and trade and build camaraderie around. And so we introduced Pathtags, and they were well received for that. And so over time, though, the prices crept up and up and up, where it's not an every person product anymore. It's kind of it's more serious investment than it used to be. So we want to try and bring it back to being affordable and fun for everybody. So updates on our 1-year plan. If you've been following along, we just upgraded our software. That was a big part of getting ready for sustainability in the next 5 to 10 years. Full stack update. Everything's faster, more flexible. So we hope you're seeing those improvements. We have a new highly accessible offering we've been hinting at for a month or two now. We're ready to talk to you and give you some information. We've also got an upgrade to our branding to share, and we'll be introducing a new location-based game by the end of the year. So we want to talk about that briefly. So I'm going to share a lot of details, but all this is subject to change because we're still kind of, figuring it out and moving along. So for the new offering, we want to provide a similar experience to the traditional Pathtag experience. We wanted there to be faster production. It's taking up to 3 months or longer due to the time between blueprint approvals and the time of getting the tags from a production factory to our headquarters for reshipping, to things like the wait time for incoming shipments to the United States has just become very long because of the new tariffs. So all this is making it very long between the time someone places an order for a Pathtag and receives the actual product. So we want that to be faster. We want it to be more accessible, so lower cost, less susceptible to economic whims. So we've been kind of caught up in this whole, tariff yo-yo stuff, and it's kind of difficult. So we want to get out of that. We have more creative options. We've always been impressed with our customer base and how much you guys do with Pathtags. So we want to continue carrying that on. Want to do more in-house production for better control of quality and timelines. Wanted it to be something that would be reasonable to expect somebody would give you a one-to-one trade for a traditional Pathtag for this item, right? So we wanted it to be the same kind of quality and experience and feel in hand and that kind of stuff. And most importantly, we're maintaining our current offerings. So this is supplemental. We're not replacing any of the prior or current Pathtag offerings with this. So we're introducing Flashtags. Flashtags have the same base specifications as traditional Pathtags. They're 23 millimeters around, 2 millimeters thick. They're magnet compatible, so they have the same base material as a traditional Pathtag. Shiny nickel plated. They're easy to store, swap, mail, carry, and display, just like a traditional Pathtag. You get a custom front side. You choose from a backside library, and they're fully integrated with Pathtags.com. So you'll be able to collect them, trade them, wishlist them, see them in the gallery, the whole 9 yards. We've been working with a launch partner, Midwest GeoBash, to produce the first production Flashtags. So they'll be introduced at Midwest GeoBash at the end of July. If you're in the area, it's a great event. You should stop by, check it out, and check us out there. So stuff you're going to see is stuff we're prepping for that event. There to the left, you get a little preview of what a Flashtag is. So you have absolute creative control. So you're not as limited as you are on a traditional tag because you don't have to do the raised metal with the filled area. So you can get a lot more detail, a lot smaller space. You have unlimited colors. We support gradient and photo options, so you can put your face on a path tag. It's made with durable hard enamel UV printing, so they come off rock solid, smooth, shiny. They look really nice in hand. Standard code font for high visibility. We're starting with a nice high contrast, high visibility code, as you can see there in the preview. And that way you don't have to squint quite as much as you might have with traditional tags. They're going to be packed and delivered in handy tubes. You can see a concept of that here on the left. It's really neat, actually. I didn't think I was going to like the tubes as much as I did. It's so cool. It makes you feel like a Pez dispenser for your path tags. Really neat way to store and transport tags with you. You can put 44 tags in your pocket with one of these tubes, and they don't jangle around too much. So very cool way to just have tags around with you and available for trading and exchange on the fly. Under a 4-week production, that's our goal. We think we can beat that, but we're setting expectations there because we just don't know right now how long it's going to take once we get a flow of orders going. They are made in the USA at our Ada, Michigan headquarters, so we are the ones making these. We're not outsourcing them. We've brought production in-house. And the price point. We think this is a good price point. $125 for the first 88 tags in an order, and then if you add more tags to that order, you can add them for $100 for every additional 88 that you add. So 88 is our standard unit of quantity for these, and they do work a little differently than the traditional path tags. So there's not the starter kit, refill kit concept. Setting up a print for any given design takes about the same amount of time each time we run an order. So the discount is for placing additional quantity into one order. That way, you know, we can do it again later, but because we have to go through the process of prepping everything again for your design, we don't give you that discount. So it could be as cheap as 88 cents a piece, which is a huge difference between almost 50% less than current path tag offerings for a traditional path tag. So here's a video that shows some of the testing we've done. This one shows a Japanese manhole cover that is based on my existing path tag design for that. What I did is I took the raised metal areas of my tag and I changed them to transparent. And what that does is it lets the base metal kind of show through, and you can kind of see it gleaming here. And also those little dots and dimples, they create a texture on top of the coin. So it's not a flat feel, it's almost like a braille texture. For tags like these other ones, which are more edge to edge, it does feel a little smoother on the face, but they feel really nice in hand, and they're super bright and they pop. Here's the tube, an example of what a tube would look like and how you would potentially be able to play with your tags. You just kind of dump them out on the table like that, look through them. You can see here the backside prototype we'd use for GeoBash. One of the things that's neat here, and I'm trying to show, is that the bottom of the logo for GeoBash has the tagline, something like the biggest and best annual geocaching event in the Midwest or something like that. It's kind of small text, but even down to 23 millimeters, you can kind of read it, right? It's like the level of detail you can get on these is so impressive, and you can do a lot more with it, I think, in some cases. So I think it's going to provide some really cool options for creativity. They feel just like a path tag in your hand, because they are. They're the same metal, they're the same weight. They clink and clack just like a path tag does. They gleam in the light. They look really nice in person. So hopefully you take some time if you're at GeoBash, stop by, take a look at what we got out for display at the booth, and then floating around the event, you'll be able to find a lot of these tags being distributed at different events. The Euchre event, obviously. So if you like Euchre, get in on that. You might get a path tag. There'll be other places around GeoBash you can get a free flash tag. So they also work in existing displays. They're the same size as a path tag. I mean, they are a path tag. We're trying to differentiate them because it's a different process. It is. It's a different process. They look a little different. They feel pretty good, but they are different. But they're also quite the same. So we want people to have a vocabulary to differentiate them more easily. So flash tag versus traditional path tag or path tag seems like a good idea. And but here it is, right in my display, right, and it looks great. I can see it from a distance. I can see it up close. The colors really pop. The metal really shines. They're very attractive. Very excited about letting you guys get your hands on some of these. So to recap, same specs and base material. There is no hole on these, as you probably noticed. They are fully integrated to pathtags.com in limited colors, gradients, and photos at no additional cost. Durable, hard UV enamel, high visibility serial numbers, packed and delivered in tubes. Target under 4-week production. We think we can beat that. Made in the USA, so they'll ship to our US customers from inside the US. Should get them pretty rapidly. $125 for the first 88, $100 for each additional 88 in an order. Makes them very affordable and accessible for whatever use you have for these. Ordering works by uploading your image, positioning it in our guide, submitting it, selecting your quantity, choosing if you want a vanity or a random serial number, making payment, and then your order goes into the queue instantly. Another change between this and traditional path tags, there is no blueprinting, so you're not going to wait for a few days, get something posted back to you, have to review it, potentially submit revisions. What you see is what you get, and it cuts both ways. If you upload an image and the image is pixelated or grainy, it's gonna come out that way on the tag. It just is. There's no upsampling, there's no change. What you see on the screen is what goes on your tag, and it cuts both ways. So there's no ambiguity anymore. You're not sure if the factory is going to change your design to meet the specs and requirements of a stamped tag. This is what you see is what you get, which is really cool, but you also have to kind of be aware of that. And then we produce, pack, and ship them. So quick preview of the artwork upload interface. So you can upload, like I said, a photograph. So there's an example of a photograph of me squared away. What's going to happen is you can see that we kind of mask out everything that's outside the circle. You can kind of still see what's out there, so you can use that when you're positioning and sizing the image. But when you submit it, it cuts away everything that's not in the circle and shows you only what's going to actually be on your tag. So on the design on the right, you can see I have a lot more transparency. So you can see that checkerboard pattern underneath my design. You can also use the buttons above to kind of change the background from checkerboard to white to black to hot pink to yellow. It's not going to print those colors, but it helps you kind of preview what's going to be transparent, what's going to be actually on the tag. So in this case, all those black lines would be printed on the tag as hard enamel, and the areas in between would be just silver metal shining through. So kind of a cool effect in some ways that you can achieve with that transparent metal. So for timeline, started this project in October, completed our POC testing in January. We decided it was feasible. Our equipment arrived May 1st. We spent all of May learning how to use it, trying different approaches and getting things kind of lined up. We did our first durability test on the 1st of June, and it failed. It didn't go well. Went back to the drawing board, tried a few different tactics, and we've now perfected our approach and our tactics. We've got a proprietary process that we're using now to ensure tags are durable. Following that, we did our first full production run of 88 on the 8th of June. That was successful. Produced a nice set of 88 beautiful two-sided tags. And then, there's the text message from Rusty telling me he's about to do it. A very exciting moment. And then we did a ship test. So we packed them the way they're going to be packed, shipped them from Michigan to Florida. They arrived in perfect condition in that tube. In fact, the video you saw earlier is on the receiving end, not the production end. So those are tags that have been shipped through the mail and abused as they are. So we're going to be at GeoBash, Midwest GeoBash, July 23rd through 25th in Wauseon, Ohio. Invite you to come see us at our table. We'll have samples. We'll have you can take some samples with you, see what we are able to produce, get a first-hand look at some of them, and they'll be floating around the event too. The event organizers are going to be distributing them at different activities throughout the GeoBash event, and it'd be a good chance to see them in person and ask questions. We might have some special offers too if you want to stop by the table for discounts on your first orders and things like that. We hope to take first public orders the 1st of August. We're going to use the time between now and then to do a kind of a soft opening. We'll be inviting a few people to place orders from the front end here and there. We won't be ready to do it wide open to the public until probably around the 1st of August. If we get real lucky, it might be a little earlier, but we're trying to take our time, make sure everything's set up correctly, and that way there's no broad missteps at launch time. So update on branding, with all this is our original branding. We originally conceived Pathtags as a trading item for geocaching. So we said, who have you crossed paths with, thinking that most people would leave them out in geocaches and other people would find them by coming behind them and picking them up out of geocaches. And it turned out there's a ton more ways that you guys were exchanging these and collecting them. So we've changed our tagline to create, connect, and collect, which we think is far more representative of the way the community uses tags today and collects them. We simplified the logo a little bit, but we left in our circle there in the upper right to signify our classic hole and the traditional path tag. And for flash tags, we adopted a very similar branding. Dropped the hole because there is no hole, and we added a lot of color because that's one of the claims to that fame. And then when we need something a little bit more simplistic, you'll see this kind of iconic starburst with the hole type of icon. So this is the new branding we're going to start using. Colors are going to stay the same, but the branding is going to shift a little bit, and our tagline is going to become create, connect, collect, because we think it's so much more representative of what you guys are doing today with the product in real life. We're also going to roll out a location-based game by the end of the year called Pathtags Flares. If this sounds familiar, it's because we presented it originally at Geo Woodstock 2014. So 10 years ago, we came up with this idea and presented it to that audience. We ran into some serious roadblocks at that time and kind of put the project to the side. But having come back to it and reviewed some of the available technology, we're going to take a second run at it here, and we hope to have a beta out by the end of August. It's going to be an interesting location-based game. The goal would be that you can leave a path tag anywhere, and you can then launch what we call a flare. And so it's the idea with the name flares. It's like if you launched a signal flare up in the sky, somebody would be able to see it. But just like a signal flare, it only lasts for so long before it burns out. The idea of flares is they're supposed to be a location-based game, but we can't guarantee that a path tag is going to stay where it's put for a long time. So rather than sending people on a goose chase, the flares will go out after a period of time or after they've been claimed. And so it's a generalized concept. We got a lot to work through on that, but we're excited to plan for that. And that's all the news that's fit to print. We're really excited about flash tags. We hope you guys will check them out. We'll be answering questions on our Facebook page and on YouTube comments. Whatever other way you want to send us a question, happy to receive it. But we're real excited about this, and think you guys are going to really like it too. All right, take care. Bye-bye.